Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Trebas Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
On this Cesar Chavez Day, 2 busloads of San Diego workers were up early to travel more than 250 miles to Delano in Kern County. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amitha Sharma, in for Maya Trabulsi. KPBS reporter Andrew Dyer says they're joining thousands from across the state to rally for labor and immigrant rights.
Delano is the San Joaquin Valley town where in 1966, Cesar Chavez began his 25-day march to Sacramento. It was a historic moment for farm worker rights and the greater civil rights movement. The theme for today's rally is Con estas manos, or with these hands. The labor unions behind the rally say it honors not just laborers, but also the efforts families make to ensure better lives for their children. Arturo Suarez says that's why he's here.
Me being able to go to school, get a job, pursue my career, my dreams, is only because a very strong, proud immigrant was willing to break their back day in and day out to give me what I have now.
Since President Donald Trump took office, immigrant communities say they've been increasingly targeted with raids. People without criminal records and even some with legal status in the U.S. have been deported. The United Farm Workers says it views federal deportation policies as an attack on the Latino community and working class people. Bridget Browning is the president of the San Diego and Imperial Counties Labor Council. She says Trump has also targeted the labor movement.
This isn't the America that we believe in. The America that we believe in supports union brothers and sisters and understands that our work moves this country.
United Farm Workers President Teresa Romero says in a statement that the rally sends a message to all workers to organize, to protect themselves and each other. Andrew Dyer, KPBS News.
Well, after some rain this morning, we'll see those showers completely clearing out of the area as we go throughout the rest of the evening. As far as overnight, we're going to drop down to the upper 50s. The clouds are going to stick with us. Even though the rain kind of gets out of here, we're still going to be dealing with the clouds, but we do clear out tomorrow. I'll break down what to expect for the rest of the week ahead coming up.
President Trump says reciprocal tariffs he plans to unveil Wednesday are now on the table for all countries. That's after the Treasury Secretary told Fox Business earlier this month the focus was on those with the largest trade deficits. A 25% tariff on imported vehicles is set to begin Thursday. President Trump says he, quote, couldn't care less if car prices rise, so long as more manufacturing comes to the U.S. Economists say it will likely raise prices for consumers.
You can't overrule the laws of economics with an executive order any more than you can overrule the laws of gravity. When you combine that lesser demand with what we're seeing in the decline of consumer investor confidence, you could well see a slowing of the economy.
Trump also says he plans to use the threat of tariffs as leverage in talks with Iran and Russia. Some Americans are scrambling to buy cars and other products ahead of potential price hikes resulting from tariffs. Michael Yoshida has expert tips on how to get the most bang for your buck.
According to a new survey from Bankrate, many Americans have been using the same bank accounts for years, even decades. But just as your lifestyle and the economy likely differ from when those accounts were first opened, experts say your banking choices should adapt and evolve with the times too.
As America's economy faces growing uncertainty, are your bank accounts doing all they can for you?
It's important to shop around periodically. I don't think enough people are doing that. Only about 1 in 4 have switched accounts in the last 5 years.
According to Bankrate, Americans surveyed have held on to the same checking account for an average of 19 years and the same savings account for an average of 17. Convenience is the reason many give for staying.
There actually is such a thing as too much loyalty, because this account may not suit you anymore.
So, how to approach your accounts? Bankrate's Ted Rossman says for your checking, because that's usually your daily transaction account for your paycheck and bills, bigger brick and mortar banks such as Chase, Bank of America, Citi, and Wells Fargo are often great because of little to no fees, easy ATM and branch access, and quality customer service. But for your savings, shop around. In particular, among smaller institutions, credit unions, community and online banks, such as Brio Direct, Rising Bank, and others, where you'll often find better rates for a high-yield savings account.
Checking accounts usually yield next to nothing. Savings accounts, on the other hand, some of the good ones are upwards of 4%.
Over time, that adds up.
Think of it this way, for every $10,000 you save, it's about $450 a year in interest if you're getting about 4.5%.
And when shopping around for a high-yield savings account, Rossman says, like with anything, you should do your due diligence and make sure those banks are FDIC or NCUA insured. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
From the new Trump administration to mass deportations, coverage of protests has taken over news headlines and social media feeds. But KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne brings us the story of two local photographers choosing to protest in their own way through art.
Many protests have erupted since President Trump took office. They're mostly loud, with diverse faces, waving flags and signs. But two San Diego photographers knew a picture could be worth 1,000 words.
I like it though. Honestly, I think we got it.
They're protesting in their own way, with a photo series highlighting immigrants in their communities. Marcelo Olvera is a San Diego-based content creator.
I knew that there was going to be a bunch of content revolving around everything that's going on with our people and ICE and how it's affecting us. So me being a creator, I wanted to do it, but do it differently and stand out with our stories.
He partnered with photographer Jordan Verdin.
Storytelling is a form of peace building, but also protest in terms of helping people see truth. So many times people see so many stories of our people and they're quick to believe them. The way that I'm approaching this project is every story is an opportunity for people to see truth, to build peace, and to protest the way that we're perceived.
They're sharing those stories on Instagram with photos of people they frequently see in the community.
We see these vendors on the corner of the street, the food on our table, like all those people, you never see them in a place like a studio environment. You never see, or you never even hear about anything like that.
Their first photo profile shows 3 family members, identified only as Juan, Maria, and Elizabeth.
The grandfather, mother, and granddaughter, 3 generations of agricultural workers here in North County. But that was a story that was close to my heart because it was my family story too.
The photo sets that followed were on flower and fruit vendors.
You see the rainbow umbrellas and you see all the colorful fruits. It's always been like a staple in every city, and whether you're in San Diego or in Los Angeles, it's something that to me just like you see it from a mile away and it brings a sense of joy. So I knew that I wanted to do something like that here.
The photo captions include a brief history of the person, the ups and downs, the struggles, and the triumphs of people like Eduardo Aguilar.
I was undocumented when I was in middle school, but my dad had been here for a long time, so that meant that he was here in 1986 when IRCA, Immigration Reform and Control Act, was passed by President Reagan, Republican president, and that was the last time immigration reform happened, and that was what helped us eventually get documentation.
Aguilar is now a doctor of education. He teaches ethnic studies and history at various San Diego colleges. That journey is one Verdin and Olvera wanted to highlight in their photo series.
But it's also important to collect the stories of people so that we know, those stories, especially the stories of people that have, gone against, the whole world against them, and they have made great things of themselves, and they have contributed greatly, as we have in this country for, the last 172 years, 73 years, in different ways.
Aguilar says he's proud to be a part of the photo series because it allowed him to share his own story and hear the stories of other immigrants that play an important role in this country.
There's so many people out there that can teach you so much, from a PhD professor from UCSD all the way to a homeless person in Oceanside. There's a lot to learn from them. A nurse, a firefighter, a gardener can teach you a lot.
And at a time when cuts are being made around diversity, equity, and inclusion, Aguilar thinks it's those conversations the world needs more of.
We need to start talking to each other because we don't really talk to each other too much, So let's begin that conversation and let's really make America great again in a good way.
Ferdinand and Olvera hope their photos will spark that conversation. They don't have a name for their project or plans for a physical showcase yet, but they do plan to continue capturing the stories of immigrants throughout the community. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
And the photo series can be seen on our website, kpbs.org.
I'm William Brangham. Tonight on the NewsHour, how China is helping with Myanmar's earthquake recovery after the U.S. slashed foreign aid. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
The Kaiser mental health workers strike has entered its 25th week. KPBS health reporter Heidi DeMarco says a new state report reveals Kaiser still is not providing timely therapy, leaving some patients in limbo.
I'm a patient at Kaiser, and I haven't been in therapy since October 2024, since before the strike. I have very serious issues that I just don't feel like talking to someone else about because it would make it worse.
Julia Romero has been struggling with her dark thoughts.
And then there's a lot of things that trigger me during the strike that makes me want to kill myself.
Feeling hopeless, she wrote a letter to Kaiser's CEO, Gregory Adams, in February.
I kind of need the therapy. That's why I wrote the letter, because maybe if they hear it from a patient, it would change.
In October, about 2,400 Southern California mental health providers, represented by the National Union of Healthcare Workers, went on strike. They are asking for better pay, pensions, and more time for patient follow-up. Last month, Governor Gavin Newsom urged the two groups to settle the strike through mediation, but former union president Sal Rosselli says they are still at a stalemate.
When mediation failed, we surveyed our membership, and 85% of these clinicians want to remain on strike for these issues as strongly today as in October when the strike started.
Fred Seavey is the union's research director. He says oftentimes patients are unaware of their rights to receive care.
The kinds of mental health and substance use disorders that people have compromises their ability to advocate for their own rights.
A new state report shows Kaiser still hasn't fixed 19 of 20 mental health care violations from 2022. The report also found Kaiser is failing to provide therapy appointments within legally required timeframes.
Sort of third-party validation of the kinds of problems that our therapists have identified.
In response to the report, Kaiser released a statement saying it has made significant improvements in healthcare access for their members.
And the therapy really helps me not want to do anything legal. Every day I hope that the strike will end, but every day I'm losing hope.
Romero has a criminal record and relies on the connection she has with her longtime therapist to stay on the straight and narrow. For her, the end of the strike can't come soon enough. Heidi DeMarco, KPBS News.
State leaders are urging high school seniors to submit their financial aid applications by Wednesday. KPBS education reporter Katie Anastas says the extended deadline comes after a delayed rollout and privacy concerns about the federal form.
Students have been given an additional month to meet the priority deadline for state financial aid.
It's a really critical deadline to ensure that students can compete for what we call the priority deadline competitive grants. These are all of your Cal Grant dollars, middle class scholarship dollars here in California, really important for seniors who are going to enter four-year institutions.
At the beginning of March, the financial aid application submission rate in California was down by about 10% compared to 2023. By March 27th, that gap had closed to about 3%. Gonzalez says there's still time to close it completely.
We've been rebounding. We had a really important year in the 23-24 educational year, but we have been down since that academic year.
Without the FAFSA, students can't access Pell Grants or federal student loans. Still, some students with an undocumented parent or spouse have been hesitant to share their data with the federal government. This year, the California Student Aid Commission opened the California DREAM Act application to both undocumented students and those from mixed status families. That application is for state and campus-based financial aid only.
That the CADA is safe, that it is a viable solution for them, and that we absolutely need to see them in higher education. So we want them to complete that CADA application by April 2nd.
She says data from the California DREAM Act application isn't shared with the federal government. Katie Anastas, KPBS News.
Some financial relief is on the way for San Diegans. SDG&E says residential customers should see an energy credit on their bills in April thanks to the California Climate Credit. Customers should look for an $81 credit on their electric bill and $54 credit on their natural gas bill. An effort to stop the reopening of a South Bay campground has failed. The union backing the effort argues the campground at the Tijuana River Valley Regional Park was so polluted it posed a danger to visitors and workers. KPBS SciTech reporter Thomas Fudge has the story.
The Tijuana River estuary is filled with places to camp and recreate, but it's gained a reputation for being so polluted by human and industrial waste from nearby Mexico that some people believe using the area is hazardous to your health. This campground near the Tijuana River has been closed for more than a year due to winter flooding last year. San Diego County wants to reopen it tomorrow, and that's what people are objecting to. Members of the SEIU Local 221 say their effort to keep this campground closed has failed. A week ago, their lawyers sent a cease and desist letter to San Diego County to prevent the reopening. A union spokesman said the county responded by saying they would move ahead. The union has an ally in the Imperial Beach mayor who also opposes reopening.
We were extremely concerned and continue to be concerned the exposure to the rangers, workers, and visitors to the park of everything that's in this highly contaminated flows.
The union represents some of the people, including park rangers, who work at the campground. Their president issued a statement upon hearing the news saying, "We are deeply disappointed that the county is proceeding without adequately addressing the sewage contamination's impact." She added that air quality, health risks, and insufficient testing remain unresolved. The health impact on members of the South Bay community is well known. Many people have shared stories of getting sick. Many members of the community, including Mayor Aguirre herself, say the air near their home smells like sewage.
We don't know what the workers are being exposed to, and we certainly don't know what families with young children could be exposed to.
Scientists from UC San Diego and San Diego State say hydrogen sulfide is a common air pollutant in the South Bay. It's a toxic substance that can cause eye and respiratory irritation and potentially neurological effects. One member of the County Board of Supervisors, Tara Lawson-Remer, issued a cautious statement to KPBS. She said, "Testing has not found the county campground to be unsafe at this time, but an abundance of caution is always wise given previously detected air pollution in the Tijuana River Valley." The EPA reports that on Sunday, an estimated 2 million gallons of wastewater spilled into the Tijuana River. The spill ended early this morning. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
Well, we did have some much needed rainfall earlier in the day. Some of those showers still lingering a little bit, but they'll completely move out of here by the time we move through the rest of this evening. We do have another round of rain in the forecast. This comes later in the week, Thursday. And as far as temperature wise, we're going to stay relatively consistent throughout the week and see a little bit of a warm up as we head into the weekend. So let's break it down piece by piece, starting with tonight's temperatures. We're dropping down to the low 50s in Oceanside, upper 50s for San Diego. Across the board, hanging on to the clouds. That rain still kind of working its way out of here, especially over towards Mount Laguna. We're in the mid-30s there tonight. Now let's take a look at future radar and exactly how that rain kind of clears out. It's very scattered, right? Just mostly the clouds, a few showers here or there as we go into our Tuesday, but then the clouds start to clear out as we head into Tuesday morning, and we are done with the rain for now at least. Temperatures tomorrow, we're in the mid-60s in Oceanside and San Diego, still holding on to a few of the showers early, but not really much throughout the rest of the day. It's going to be a bit windy closer to Mountain Laguna at those higher elevations. Temperatures in the upper 30s. We do have wind advisories out. These go through 2 a.m. Wednesday. So throughout our day on Tuesday, these are going to stay into effect. Everywhere highlighted in the purple here. Let's go ahead and talk about what to expect for the rest of your week with your 5-day outlook on the coast. Like I said, temperatures staying relatively consistent. We dip down a little bit Thursday as that next round of rain moves in, and then we start to warm up a little bit Friday and Saturday for the end of the work week and start of the weekend. Further inland, holding on to some of those showers still tomorrow. Temperatures a few degrees here or there, but then we also do warm up Friday and Saturday. The biggest temperature variation is going to be in our mountain 5-day outlook. We're in the upper 30s. We go down to the low 30s. Friday, we're in the 40s. Saturday, we are in the 50s. Then taking a look at your desert 5-day outlook, staying relatively consistent through Thursday, and then we get up to the upper 70s and even the 80s by the time we get to Saturday. For KPBS News, I'm AccuWeather's Anna Azalian.
We've now come to the end of our Soccer a la Frontera series. Through this series, Jacob Ayers showed us the history of professional soccer in our region, from lower division teams to the Women's Soccer League, to the arrival of Major League Soccer team to San Diego. In this final episode, Jacob takes a look at the new team.
Se siente el calor, se siente el estilo mexicano y eso para mí ha sido muy bonito y bueno, muy agradable.
This is Soccer a la Frontera, and we're exploring soccer culture in the San Diego-Tijuana region. It took a long while and many failed attempts to get to this point. But over the past decade, soccer culture has carved out its own place in our border culture.
There's always been soccer fans here. There's always been a lot of, fans of teams from Europe, national team fans, but there wasn't really anything local that they can hook up to.
During that time, 4 top-flight teams, 2 on each side of the border, have laid down roots at Snapdragon Stadium and Estadio Caliente. It started with the ascent of Liga MX's Club Tijuana men's team in the early 2010s.
Because once the team got promoted to First Division, that changed the whole landscape of soccer landscape in San Diego. Because if you think about it, at the time there was no major league team in town.
But when that ball got rolling,
we started noticing, there was a club here that would pop up, a lower division club that would pop up, and then there was another one. Then there was 2 happening simultaneously.
At the same time, the National Football League's Chargers left town, leaving a huge opportunity.
Coinciding about when the Chargers would leave, you just started hearing more and more about Major League Soccer. Pro soccer leagues in the United States on the men's side started taking San Diego as one of its target areas.
Then came the rise of Liga MX Femeninos Club Tijuana and the National Women's Soccer League's San Diego Wave FC. And one other team joined the scene as a prime example of a community-first soccer club, led by U.S. soccer legend Landon Donovan, San Diego Loyal.
But more than anything else, we just wanted a club. We wanted a place where we can go, where people could bang the drums, where people can drink beer, where we could cheer, where we could celebrate, where we can come together with the local soccer community.
Future players, athletes, they had an avenue now where they can play and try to become, not just a professional, but have somewhere to go learn from great coaching, philosophers of the game.
But the main event was still to come. After a decades-long wait, Major League Soccer's San Diego FC has now landed.
Me tocó estar aquí en una ciudad donde hay mucho mexicano, hay mucho mexicoamericano.
This intentionally binational team has the potential to create something truly unique.
That seems to be a big push for San Diego Football Club, right? Is that they want to represent not just the city and the county of San Diego, but they've been open about the fact that they want players from Tijuana, they want players from Baja California.
I think it's the field of dreams, right? I mean, you look at this valley where we are, the mountain backdrop.
They have big plans for SDFC's state-of-the-art training facilities on the Sequan Reservation.
We want to be a staple here. We want this to not only be a place for us, but a home for national teams to come and visit whenever they're here. We want to show this place off.
Coming soon is the first North American location of Right to Dream, a free football academy for the most talented young boys and girls in the San Diego-Tijuana region. SDFC's Emmanuel Boateng graduated from the Right to Dream Academy in Ghana.
Having Right to Dream right next door, that would be good, you know, seeing the guys every day, try to mentor them as much as I can and try to learn from them too.
It will provide a direct connection from our border region's abundance of young soccer talent to professional leagues.
They're in here, they'll get the best quality education, competing against each other, that's always an emphasis, and really building character.
And help bring a long-standing passion to play the beautiful game full circle, more than 50 years after our first professional team touched down.
It's a unifying culture. Because once you step on the pitch and you're kicking the ball around, it doesn't matter where you're from.
The timing is right, with the 2026 Men's World Cup in the US, Mexico, and Canada just around the corner.
We're hoping that this is a place where people want to come because of soccer. And I think it will be.
Come for the passion of the San Diego-Tijuana style of football, from the streets to the stadiums.
Gracias a Dios, San Diego FC me dio la oportunidad de ser la cara de este equipo y bueno, hay que trabajar mucho, hay que dedicar mucho tiempo, pero bueno, yo creo que vamos en buen camino y si seguimos así va a ser un gran club.
This is the fifth and final chapter of Soccer a la Frontera, where we explored the cultural growth of football in our border region. If you missed one of the other 4 episodes, go to kpbs.org/socceralafrontera to watch more.
That story was produced by Jacob Ayer. Please join us this Friday at 8:30 p.m. for a special showing of the entire Soccer a la Frontera series and additional commentary from Jacob. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you for joining us. I'm Anita Sharma, and have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.